The Everything OK Review is a series dedicated to the idea that everything is subjective and reviews are pointless. The first review debate is the Electoral College versus an apple. The categories used to review each participant are taste, look, smell, feel, and a mystery category. First, let's start with a quick summary on both the Electoral College and an apple. The Electoral College is a process, not a place. Holy fuck. Really? Why do people think it's a place? It's so dumb. Okay, so the Electoral College is the system that the US has for getting that their prezi up there and making sure that they aren't a massive mistake, which is bullshit and always has been so. In its current form, after the 12th Amendment, the Electoral College has been going not so strong since 1804. Realistically, the Electoral College is a way that the Founding Fathers could be like, hey, we know this is a free country and all for the people and whatnot, but the people are dumb and we don't want to deal with bullshit, so you can vote, but not really. Mad Dog, No Rules, Fuck Thomas Jefferson, $10 Founding Father, Small Man on Campus, Alexander Hamilton had this to say on the Electoral College. It was equally desirable that the immediate election should be made by men most capable of analysing the qualities adapted to the station, and acting under circumstances favourable to deliberation, and to a judicious combination of all the reasons and indictments which were proper to govern their choice. A small number of persons selected by their fellow citizens from the general mass will be most likely to process the information and discernment requisite to such complicated investigations. It's also a way for small states to have the same impact as larger states, which back then was like a legitimate concern. Like, say that you lived out in Wyoming and you're a farmer. I live in Australia, so I don't know what you peeps do in the States. Wyoming sounds like a farm place to me, so I'm gonna say it's a farm place. Anyway, you're on the farm and you're pissed because everyone you know in Wyoming is a farmer and you're all having the shittest time of your life because the new president is like, yo, I don't give a fuck about farms, haha. But I do care about the arts and film. Good thing California is the city of fallen angels because I've sold my soul to you people. And I say, any money going to farms can fuck off. I like California. Also, this is a massive jump in logic because there are like 50 states. It's hard to make examples with 50 states, seeing as they would all have different policies and worker history. And there's gotta be a couple more farm towns. Wyoming can't be pulling all the slack. Anyway, now you have a problem because there is another candidate that likes farms, but Cali is stock full of people and Wyoming has you and your sister and like 7 dudes named Chip. The Electoral College helps by letting you and your sister and 7 Chips not get fucked over simply because Cali people don't got to farm. Farms are important, yo. So you have equal voting, but not really, but kind of, and everyone is now okay with this because, well, everyone else had monarchies and dictatorships and, I don't know, maybe social communisms somewhere. I'm really scratching on history, but, you know, this was the first case of a democracy, even though it was still not that Democrat? I need to learn my Latin. But enough of that. Apples. The apple tree is a deciduous tree in the rose family, best known for its sweet, pomaceous fruit, the apple. Apples are from Kazakhstan, or Turkey, or the Garden of Eden, or the forested flanks of the Tian Shan Mountains? No one can pinpoint this red or green bad boy down because they old as fuck. And people like apples. Anyway, Alexander the Great, both of these summaries had Alexanders. Isn't that cool? Was credited for finding apples in Kazakhstan in 338 BCE, and then he brought them to Macedonia because apples are food, and great people bring food to countries. Anyway, everyone started to get apples because eating is important and these things grow, and actually, I don't exactly know why everyone was keen on apples. Give me a second. It looks like people just like apples because they look cool, and also a guy in America saw it as a way to give small farm places, probably Wyoming, a thing they could make into cider, which apparently was a substitute for dirty water. But, you know, that takes us beautifully to our first category. Look. The US Electoral College looks pretty good on paper, so like 6 out of 10, but then again it hasn't evolved since 1804, which isn't accepting for my changing taste of aesthetics, so I'm gonna bump it down to 4 out of 10. Apples, on the other hand, pretty much only have got their looks going for them, as they are inspiration for art in Germanic paganism, Christian art, and Greek mythology. Also, Steve Jobs likes them, so like a bunch of things people look up to as being really cool but really hurt a lot of innocent people like them. Also, when you think of, what a healthy boy, you probably think of a guy holding a crate of apples, which is sexist of you. Don't degrade apples like that. Also, Wikipedia totally is telling me apples aren't even that healthy. Like, apparently they have a low content of essential nutrients, and that's just not on apples. If you're supposed to be keeping the doctor away, you need a bit more essential and a little less 126 calories with a moderate content of dietary fiber. Bitch. Oh fuck, I forgot to give this one a rating. 8 out of 10? Apples look real nice in paintings, but aren't really cool to look at for like an hour and a half. Anyway, next category. Taste. The US Electoral College is a process and not a place. Like, come on, that's the stupidest idea. I get that colleges are places, but come on. And thus can't be tasted. But I like that. It's kind of like umami, which I don't understand because I'm lower class and white, but I pretend to because I'm lower class and white. I imagine it tastes a bit like old books and heavy drinking, but also bad hygiene, so my vote is cast for 6 out of 10, which in the Electoral College would mean 100% of the electoral votes. But that's not how my system works, so back down to 610, you scamp. As for apples, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Apples aren't great. Apples are like okay 30% of the time and are absolute trash the other 70% of the time. And I'm not a gambling man, so I look at one of those beautiful red beacons of weird paganism and think, nah, not today. Going to go my odds with a manufactured fruit tasting bar, which will only suck like 20% of the time. And for this, I give apples a 3 out of 10, because 30% of the time they're good. I said a lot of words in this one without there needing to be, and for that I'm sorry, but I get emotional at times. Now for category 3. Smell. I could have easily done that with an effect, but I did it with my mouth. As pointed out before, the Electoral College was established way back in the day of dying of dysentery, and while old books and frankincense and myrrh probably smelled alright, shitting yourself to death probably smelled un-alright. So sadly, the Electoral College gets 2 out of 10 rating on smell. Apples really don't smell like much unless you cook them, but that's taking them out of their natural just hanging out waiting to knock Isaac Newton into science habitat. So really I gotta give them like a 4 out of 10. Because when you don't really smell like much and then you go off and smell bad, what really are you doing as food? Grow up and become a great segue into our next topic, feel. The Electoral College has criticised almost every election, so its feelings are probably a little bit hurt, and I can relate to that. But also, it needs to use this to find out how to better itself, just like me. Wow, I'm really learning a lot about myself here. 10 out of 10. But not actually, because the Electoral College got in a lot of not cool people into presidency in America, but also got cool people in, so 7 out of 10. Apples feel pretty good. Go grab an apple. Let it sit in your hand. Imagine all that you could destroy with that apple. So perfectly could you fling it to destroy the world in front of you. Watch as the green slowly turns to red with each successive hit to the temple of those who stand in your way. Also fun to play catch with. 8 out of 10. Time for the mystery category. Mystery. This week the mystery category is general badassery. The Electoral College, while a bit of a jackassy move for the freedom country, is kind of badass. I like the idea that a bunch of drunk illuminated few deciding they don't give a fuck if it's not been done before. They're going to start their own way of getting shit done. And hey, if that also means screwing over the people, so what? Actually, not really so what. That's a little fucked. But we all love a bad girl, so 6 out of 10. America, you saucy minx, hope you go well. As for apples, I can't think of a less badass fruit. Except maybe grapes. But you do make alcohol out of apples, so 1 out of 10. They do have arsenic in the seeds though, so I don't know. Maybe 2 out of 10? This leaves us with the final score for the Electoral College at 25 out of a total of 50 points, or 2.5 stars out of 5 stars, and apples with a final score of 25 out of a total of 50 points, or an average rating of 2.5 stars out of 5 stars. That's right, kids. Nothing is too good or bad, everything is okay. Thank you for listening to the Everything is Okay review.